Hey everybody, what's up? It's Scuff D, and I am back, and I am ready to play some Legions, so let's get into it. I'm actually going to be talking about, hang on, it's got to load. What's the deal? Let's do this again. Come on, load it up. So today I want to go ahead and talk about some of the new changes. Jeez Louise. Here we go. New changes and updates that have been made to the Salamanders, specifically Artellus Numeon, Warlord. I've been playing around with him for a little bit today. Just kind of got some ideas, kind of a little bug to try him out and see how he works. So Artellus Numeon, let's take a look at the deck list really quick, and I'll kind of go over my thought process here, and then just kind of play some games and see how it goes. So Artellus Numeon, basically his whole thing, his whole shtick is he gives everybody a sacrifice for ability 1. He gives it to a friendly infantry or Astartes. Doesn't work on vehicles, doesn't work on structures. So you want to keep that in mind when you're using them. 230. He's kind of your average starter. Warlord. He's got Survivor 5, however, and he does start with an extra card, which was something I kind of had to get used to, because for the longest time I've just been playing with Primarchs, so it was kind of nice to get a 5-card hand going second. So what you'll see here, what I've got, I'm just kind of trying things out, throwing things. First off, Numeon's ability to add Survivor to people who don't have Survivor or who lose Survivor is really great with Sacrifice, which is kind of his theme. Numeon's story himself actually involves sacrifice in order to resurrect Vulcan. So it kind of makes sense that his deck kind of lends itself to that. The Salamanders in general have the only cards currently with sacrifice, so of course it makes sense that that's what he's got. Some of the powerful cards here that he can use over and over and over again, if you get him to stick. You've got Roshan Squad, which is the 2-drop, and you can't see it here, but let's go back into the card list itself. So you got these guys here, Roshan Squad. They've got Survivor 1, and they're easy to get rid of. They're a target, but if you don't get rid of them, they're dealing 3 damage to the Warlord, and if the only thing on the table is the Warlord, that's 2 plus 3, and then they stick, and then you throw another Survivor on them, and they're going to stick again, so they've got to throw 2 things at them to get rid of them. I've got Storm and Eagle in here. Initially, I had Sibyllins, which is the Mechanicum troop that bounces, but that doesn't quite work with Sacrifice. Not Sacrifice. Survivor kind of blows that mechanic out, number 1. And number 2, I needed an ability to kind of stun things, buy yourself that extra time if you need it. So I've got those in there. And Tatar Squad, they don't come with Survivor. However, if you can get them out there, they're initially hard to kill with the 2/4, but if you can put Survivor 1 on them and use them once or twice, they're destroying random enemy troops, and if your opponent only has 1 or 2 troops out there, you know what they're getting, and they become a big hindrance to your opponent putting anything on the board. I also went with Xavier because I have him, number 1. Number 2, he's so much better now. With the changes that they made to Xavier, he gives Survivor 1 to adjacent troops. And I believe he had a 2 health. He's got a 3 health now, and he's got Sacrifice returned to your hand. So you can easily, potentially, get him and do him over and over and over again. And between him and Numeon, you're putting Survivor onto up to 3 of your troops. I had Gargo in here, Eigen Gargo, but I took him out. I just didn't have enough infantry troops. The majority of my troops are Astartes troops, so it just didn't work as well. So I took him out, and I went with something a little bit different. Nocturne Boon, Nocturne Born. I've only got one in there. It's just an extra little Survivor stick in here, but the nice little thing here is this works on any friendly unit, which, as you'll see, I have some non-infantry, non-Astartes units. It also works on your Warlord, which can can just be the difference. Put in a war and it returns to your hand. So if they've got more troops, which doesn't happen often, but it happens enough to be considered. Dragon Scale, I'm just trying this one out. It's pretty beefy, just to kind of seal the deal. I'm just kind of trying it out, so there's not a whole lot of thought process in there. The Epistolary Reston, these guys are kind of, their Survivor and their Sacrifice are both huge. He comes out as Survivor 3, he gets Sacrifice, he's dealing 2 damage across the board, and then you put another Survivor on him and you use them over and over and over again. These guys are targets once you put them on the board, but if you can keep them out there, pretty powerful. Zytos, he's got Frontline, he's got Sacrifice, Stun a random enemy, which, 3/5 Frontline, okay, the Sacrifice is nice, okay, but then you take into consideration Numeon's ability to put Survivor on him, and suddenly you can use Zytos to stun 2 to 3 extra turns, especially depending on what they put out on the board or what they have, and he keeps your opponent from getting to your other troops. Of course, this guy here, he's the healer for the Salamanders. He's got a great ability. He's going to heal everybody. He's got Survivor 1, and then you use him and you throw another Survivor 1 on him. It's kind of a repeat. That's what Numeon does. I went with these 2 guys here, number 1, 2 of them, because I kind of need a closer. I need something to kind of bolster a lot of the smaller troops that I've got in the deck. So if I can get these guys out and I can get them going off just once, that's pretty nice. That can make a difference, is kind of my thought process behind that. You can put Survivor on them depending on what you've got. If you time it right, it might be beneficial. I've used them twice out of the gate. About half dozen games. It's my friend there. I'm going to go ahead and ignore him right now because he's not feeling too good and he shouldn't be playing. He wants to play a different game, not Legions, and I'm here talking Legions right now. So I've used them a couple times, haven't used them full all the way yet. That's it for my Salamander pool. So kind of going into the other cards here. Hang on a second, let me scroll down here and get to the other cards. Okay, scrolling down. Hang on here. I'm trying to get this off my window. Come on now. There we go. Alright. So Chaos cards, the only card I've really got here is the Trap. And I've got 2 of them. Now, people want to say it's a niche card, and it just kind of was an idea that I had. Initially, I wanted to use Numeon's ability on the Trap, but that doesn't work. However, Xavier does work. Nocturne Born does work. And if you really want to, in a pinch, Dragon Scale Armor, or even Artificer Armor, which I don't have in this deck, works. Because it bolsters the Trap's health beyond 6. Both of those do. You could put a shield with the Dragonborn armor on the Trap, and now it's got shield. So not only does it trigger if they put a troop out, but that 6 damage doesn't kill it. And then it stays on the board to be used a second time. Or, in the event that it triggers and you've got Survivor on it, it's on the board again. And your opponent has to either play 2 troops to get rid of it, or they have to somehow attack it. And you've got enough frontline in the deck that ideally it makes it harder for them to get to the Trap. So that's the thought process. That helps you build your board up. And because you'll see I'm running Shield Generator, I don't want to go super tactic heavy, so this is kind of a built-in tactic on the board, and it helps me keep my board presence strong without weakening anything and give them further targets. So it makes it harder for them to respond to just what I'm throwing out there, especially if I've got a couple things out there. Obviously Melgator, there's no reason not to have Melgator. He's not going to do much with Survivor on him. However, he's just going to do what he does when you need him to do what he does. Shield Generator, I only have 1. I don't think it's a 2 of, but when it hits out there, it really frustrates people. It really frustrates people if you can throw Xavier next to it. in general, from the play that I've been seeing with this in this deck, it becomes a target, and it lasts a couple turns, and by the time they get rid of it, they've kind of had to change their game plan, and then they kind of unload their tactics. You know, they can finally play them, but at that point in time, your board is pretty strong. Initially, I was going to do Time Melt-A-Bomb, kind of like I was going to do the Trap. However, Time Melt-A-Bomb just destroys this troop, so that would get past the Survivor mechanic, so it doesn't work. It doesn't work the same way. Remare, I have in here mainly as another closer. I was lacking closers. I was lacking something that I really wanted to have an oomph. And these guys, depending, they kind of have it. 7-3. You can give them Survivor, and they've got, you know, they're good. It's a one of, but I don't know. I mean, he's working out so far, but there wasn't a lot of thought process besides. I need something high enough in the cost range to make it worthwhile. And then Doombringer. And Doombringer I went with here because he's a high closer. He can help spread damage across the board. You can put Nocturne Born on him to boost him up with Survivor if you need to. And he also does 7-5. And he's a target, but if you've got a wall of other things, he's a hard target. Farron's Militia, these guys become basically they're your early game. If you get them in your opening hand, you put Survivor on them, and then they start building up your board in addition to the other cards that you're going to be dropping out. They're not something your opponent wants to ignore. They're not something that they can really ignore for too long because they're just going to give you just the 2 ones. And even if you can only put Survivor on one of them each turn, if you need to, if there's not other better options, they steamroll. They steamroll hard. And you're all about board presence. This deck is all about board presence. So, and then Abandoned Supplies, because aside from the Farron's Militia, everything else in the deck is 2 cost and above. And especially pulling out that with some of the higher cost cards and getting them out early, there's nothing wrong there. Jukebox Starsight and the Goldstone Hunters, those kind of go without saying, but to kind of go into them, Goldstone Hunters, being able to drop them, put Survivor on them, use them as a 3 silver bullet to deal 3 damage to a unit, and then you still have them on the table, is pretty nice. It's very useful, and then your opponent either has to choose to deal with them or face that combo again. Jukebox Starsight's not somebody I normally throw Survivor on, but in general, he's going to get you 1 or 2 cards. If he's behind some front line, he's going to get you more than that. And if you happen to put Survivor on him, he's really going to irk some people off. And that's it. Those are the things that I went with for this deck. So, let's just go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and play a couple games here, see how it goes. There's not a whole lot of, crazy. All right off the bat, we're going up against Vulcan. This could be a long game, so brace yourself. Okay, all right. I like that. I like that start. It's not super early cheap, but those are all good cards, and those are all good cards to have early on. So I'm not gonna regret doing it. I'm not gonna use the Storm Eagle here. I don't want to attack face here, so we're just going to go ahead and end the turn. And he's going to draw his teaching. Okay, so now let's go ahead. And throw some stuff out there. Now he knows that he's got to deal with it. He's got to work with this. He's got to double attack it. And if he doesn't, I'm going to put Survivor on him. And I'm going to start pumping them up. My plan here would be Survivor, or Storm Eagle, or Xavier, possibly. So there you go. So he's dealing with them. Just to get him to throw a card out. That's A-OK. That's A-OK. Alright. And now we go. Numeon on this guy. Throwing him out there. It's going to happen again. And if he can't get rid of him, I'm going to drop a Xavier on him and give him Survivor. Oh, yeah. Perfect. All right. Oh, this is even better. Okay, so here's where we go. We go this guy. Then we go Xavier. Ba-booms. And then we throw him out over here. And then we'll throw him out over here. Because I don't like Jubak. I don't want a Vulcan deck getting stronger Vulcan deck cards. No, thank you. Now he's got 3 important targets. If he can, I think he's going to try to go for this guy. Yep, he's going to bounce him. Very wise. And there you go. Perfect. But he didn't keep his, and I kept mine. And now he's got to go face. So that's even better. And now I'm going to go ahead and use my Storm Eagle to stun him. And I'll have to go ahead and throw Survivor onto him. Pump him up to Survivor 2. So now unless he's got another Goldstone or direct damage, he's going to be, yep, he's going to be eating it. Okay. Alright, now we get frustrating. First off, here. Second off, here. Let's go ahead and bounce him. And let's go ahead and go here. Now let's trigger this Survivor. So whatever teaching he got just went up in cost by 2. He hasn't used a teaching yet, but his teaching just went up by 2. That's okay. He had to use his 2 actions on that, and he's going to throw this guy out again, which seems okay, but given the fact that he doesn't have anything to get a sacrifice on, it's not going to make as big of a difference. Alright, so then the question is, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? I can do 3 here, and I'll do that, and that'll really cause a stink, but will it cause enough of a stink? I'm going to take a chance here. This is just me taking a chance. I don't know if it's worthwhile, but it gets rid of beefs, causes a problem. Volcom's going to have to take a 7 hit to the face. And I don't know if he's going to want to do that. Understandable. Understandable. Okay. Alright, so I like the potential of what Jubak brings. I do. And I like being able to heal, and I like being able to remore. Okay, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to go so far as to Survivor Jubak, just to throw an extra annoyance factor in there. I don't know. Again, I've only played, I think, maybe about a half dozen games, so it's very interesting to kind of see the landscape has shifted here. But this is shaping up to be an interesting game, so I like it. Kind of move the camera something like that there. So now what's he thinking? I've thrown out a lot of annoyances. Okay, there you go. So he's blowing his whole turn and he's going to go for it. That's okay. Now that's going to be an annoyance with my Survivor. It's going to really mitigate my Survivor abilities, which them's the breaks, you know. But that's okay. So how do we want to play it here? Do we want to throw out... Oh! Okay. Well, I guess it was too much. I don't know what he had in his hand. But there you go. That's one game. That's not too shabby. That was a good game, though. Soul Justice. I don't know what drove your thought process, but, you know, hey, I understand. That's the concept, anyways. Okay, so that's one game. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to talk about or show it. Let's just go ahead and do another game here, see what we get. I've got enough time. Alright, okay, this could be a quick game, this could be a not quick game. It depends. It depends on how they've got it built, it depends on what I get. Okay. Let's get rid of this guy, because he's not going to be able to really pull off his sacrifice against the Raven Guard as well. All of these guys are good. Like it. Okay. Oh yes, this feels good. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, now do I play Abandoned Supplies or do I play Roshan Squad is the question. I'm going to go ahead and play Roshan Squad, because right now I still do have a couple 1-drops in my deck, and I would hate to use Abandoned Supplies on those guys. You don't want to, if you have enough low cost, like I'd like to get one of them out. Use it on a 6-drop instead. Now he's going to have to deal with them. Now what does he got? Does he got a tactic? If he's got a tactic, he's alright. That's fair enough. It's not like it's, unexpected. Alright, but now that I've got that out here, this will cause some annoyances. He doesn't know I've got 2 of them. I might save the other one for about turn 6 or 7 if he's got Moors. Okay. I mean, all he has to do is throw a troop out, so if he's bouncing face, then that's fine. And if he's not, then I'm doing this. And I wanted to move him away from the trap, so in case he's got For Whom the Bell Tolls, kind of spread that out, make him have to work for it. Okay, so he's going there, so he must really want to drop something. Okay, and he's trying to stealth it up. Alright, hate to break it to you, buddy. Hate to break it to you. I got another one. You're going to have to deal with that. We'll go ahead and end the turn. Right at the 6-drop. Perfect. So now it's going to be a hindrance. He's going to have to throw something stupid cheap out to deal with it. Alright. Fair enough. And he's going to stealth up here. And now I throw out some of the bigger survivor guys, because he's going to have some jet bikes, I would imagine, at this point in time. I can do 3 and 3, but I don't want to do 3 and 3. I want to keep Armorsman Squad up on there with the survivor. Let's go ahead and do this guy. He's already got survivor. He can't go past his threshold. You can give him survivor 4, but if he triggers, he's just going to get 3 health on there. So there's no point in overdoing it. He's going to have to throw some stuff out at this, though. If he's smart, he won't touch him, because then I won't be able to use him on my next turn. You got to sacrifice him if he's got 3 health. Alright, what's he got? He's throwing Seek and Destroy, which, I mean, okay. I'm just going to put Survivor on him. Again, okay, so Farron's Militia against Korak's probably not a good idea to play. I'm just going to let those sit in my hand. I am going to do this. I am going to do this. And then just to really annoy him, I mean, I'm going to lose 1. He's going to have to send somebody at it or do a scatter damage, and that's fine. That's fair trade. But where you're noticed right now is he's at 26 health. I'm at 22, but I've also got the 5 survivor. Alright, so he's throwing that guy out a 2nd time, which is not a good idea, because even if he gets rid of this guy here, I'm just going to do some damage. Perfect. Alright, here we go. Let's get rid of your sentence, buddy. I could have used Nocturne Born. I chose not to. I don't want to use Nocturne Born. What I do want to do, though, is throw out a little bit of a bait. I want to throw out, let's see here, 3 and 4, or the big old 6-y. Ooh, I like the healing, but I like the 3. I'm going to go with the 3 and 4, because in the event that he's got like a Scimitar Jet Speeder, he's not going to just be able to take me out. And I'm not going to do the Farron's Militia as much as I want to, because Korax will have stealth the rest of the game. Not a good idea. Okay, alright, Cades is going to cause some problems, to be sure. To be sure. That stealth is going to add up. Okay, alright, so then how do I do this? So we've got Cades can actually seal the deal right now if he elected to. But I don't want him to. So Zytos, you're in. Let's go ahead and do 4, 2, 2. And then I'm going to go ahead and put Survivor on this buddy. And I'm going to give myself... I don't want to do that. Don't want to use the gold stone. Tempted to put Survivor over here. There we go. I'm not going to see that card return back to my hand. However, everybody on my table has Survivor now. And Sentence works past Survivor, but the Raven Guard lack an outright destruction card. So that is going to be an annoyance. So he's doing some damage out there on 3 important ones, but now he's going to have to go into hiding. And in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that Survivor. Okay, who's he doing the 3 on? Interesting. Not a wise idea. Big mistake. Big mistake, and I'll tell you why, ladies and gentlemen. Because now I can use this guy to get rid of his Cades. And his Cades is gone. And the advantage that he did have is no longer. And then we'll go ahead and start hitting for some damage. And he's got some targets to stealth for sure. Don't get me wrong. But while he's ignoring them, okay, yep, he's got a faster. Does he have enough to get anywhere with it on his next turn? He's already used Cades. I don't have any anti-stealth in this deck. I chose not to. I opted for board presence instead. Let's go ahead and do Survivor on this guy so he can't just snap him. Let's go here. And I'm not going to, again, not play my Goldstone. I'm going to wait. I'm going to hold him off. I've got 9 health, technically. 4 plus 5. And he's got 10. So it's a very close game. So he's got a fast troop. That was it. That was his sentence. Okay. Again, I'll nick you. I'll nick you, buddy. And I'm not going to use Mugator. Actually, hold up. Hold up, everybody. Let's see here. Ooh-wee. I like it. Heal some buddies. We'll go ahead and put Survivor back on him. And then we'll throw out this guy here. I don't have anybody worth bouncing. But the game is getting there. Now, Korax's nerf, it's a nerf, his Reckoning no longer applying sentence makes a big deal. Because in this instance, normally he could throw that stealth out there and he could close the game. And now he's not going to be able to close the game. And it looks like he's resigned himself to trying to scatter it as long as he possibly can. Okay. All right. So now who to put Survivor on? So let's give ourselves a Jubok, because maybe he's got some anti-stealth cards I'd like to steal and really annoy him. We are even Steven. We're on 8 and 8, buddies. And now we're on 6 to 8, or 6 to 11. I'm sorry, 6 to 11. And even game, tight game. If he goes his Reckoning, okay. Yep, you gotta do that so you can stealth it out. It's not gonna make a difference. Not in this instance. He's gonna try to jukebox something. It won't matter. Okay, what to do. So we can get rid of that. That won't work. That's not worthwhile. Let's make it interesting. Give him a target here. Go there. Throw out Survivor 1 over here. And then because he could still have Inescapable Cell. Yeah, let's just go ahead and make it harder. Let's make it harder. I think he sees what's coming at this point. He's going to have to pull Reckoning in order to survive, and it's not going to do him any good because he's not going to go into stealth. There you go. He's going to give himself 8th health, but I'm sorry, buddy, it's not enough. It's not enough. It's final last ditch. I'm going to give him a good salutations. That wasn't sarcastic. Oh, he wasn't going to close out the game. That's too bad. I think he's probably going to go for the rage quit. You know, I get it. It's frustrating. That's the point. It's not designed to be mean or negative experience. This is what Numeon does. You throw out a lot of annoyances and they stick. And your opponent has to change their gameplay, and nobody likes that. Nobody likes having to change their gameplay. So this is about game 10 or 12, I want to say I played, probably, with Numeon today. And Vermilion, the Thousand Suns, I salute you. It was a good game. It was a close game. I wish you would have died with honor, but that's okay. It's nothing personal, I understand. So that's Numeon. That's these changes that have been made. They're very small, they're subtle, but I think all of the changes that were made to the Salamanders were huge, were important, were very well done. Vulcan needs to find his place. He plays differently than Numeon altogether. Sacrifice in Vulcan doesn't work as well because Vulcan doesn't have immediate access to Survivor, whereas Numeon does, and now he can give it at free will, and he can give it to free will to anything that's annoying, and it's going to frustrate people. The trade-off is he has low health. The trade-off with that also is he's not a attacker. He's relying on his troops, so if you don't draw them, that's going to hurt. I think I've lost 2 games out of the 12 that I've played so far. One was against I think one was against a Karn deck. He just had the right stuff and had the right strikes, and it was a good game, but I think he eked that one out. And I want to say the other one was against I don't know. I can't remember. I know I lost the second one. Maybe it was Fulgrim. It might have been a Fulgrim loss with the bunch of the Hall of Rights Fulgrim deck. I think I lost to that one because he just snowballed me with troops that I didn't have anything. And then, like I said, I made some changes. This isn't the perfect draft, but this is what I'm using. And that's the thought process behind Numeon. So he's not immediately accessible. You kind of either have to pick them up in the shop when the Salamanders are there, or if you want, you splurge and you pick up the Salamanders deck. But you need to have those critical sacrifice cards to really maintain the board presence, because even though there are some out there that are annoyance factors like the militia and the trap, really the things that are hammering the deal and keeping the board on your presence, those are epics and those are legendary stuff. So you do need those, but if you've got them, if you're looking to try out Salamanders, you want to break out from something new. I've been playing Korax for the last, I don't know, since whenever Raven Guard hit. I was lucky enough to get him in an early crate, and I've been playing Raven Guard almost non-stop. With these changes that have been made, I realized that the Raven Guard, the Korax deck specifically, it's going to have to change and evolve because his Reckoning changing makes his playstyle slightly different at the end game. So you have to have a different end game option. And whereas on the other hand, the Salamanders at end game, if you've got a board, you've got so many options, as you've seen. So that's it. That's what I want to show. That's what I've been stoked about. I've been playing Legions all day, and I've been having fun with it, and I wanted to share it and wanted to talk about it. So there you go. Now, going into it next, I want to try to do up a card by card. Keep going with the card by cards. I want to go through everything that we've seen so far. So next video will probably be a card by card for Chaos, because that's the last neutral faction that we haven't done. So look forward to that. Thank you for sticking through it. Thank you for watching me play some Salamanders. I hope it piques your interest. And I hope to see this thing evolve with some different play styles out there, because there are, you're going to see this. I think you're going to see Numeon a lot more often than you probably will see Vulcan, just because of ease of access from Warlord ability, and on top of that, like, I mean, who doesn't like having cards stay on the table? That's a change. That's a game changer. The game is shifting from tactics to troops again, at least in regards to the Salamanders, and that is important. That's something that they need. So, thanks for watching. Keep playing Legions, and I'll be seeing you guys soon.